Welcome back to the lovely place. Today I am going to take my Stihl chainsaw, my 261 MS261C, and I am going to, for the first time, attempt to sharpen the chain, and I'm going to be doing that using this nice 2-in-1 Stihl chainsaw sharpener. And we're going to see, for the first time, somebody who's never ever sharpened a chain before on a chainsaw try to make this happen using this device here. I've watched a few videos on it, and today what I'm going to try to do for you is show you some close-up imagery of exactly what's going on the blade here, and on the depth gauge. So this particular sharpener has the ability to cut or to sharpen both the blade, which is right there, this item, and the depth gauge at the same time. And again, I'll get you some close-up views of that. Well, let's do this. So this is the blade, this is the depth gauge. Blade, depth gauge. This is the aggressive chain. It's not the one that I purchased originally with this chainsaw. The first chain got dull pretty quick, and apparently it was just the standard chain. I was at the Stihl dealership wanting to buy the sharpener, and they talked to me about the aggressive chain, saying I'll be much happier with it. And when I first got it, it was cutting through stuff like butter. You've probably seen some of the videos on our channel here. But I'm going to show you what this is cutting like now. I've done a good bit of cutting. I should have sharpened it a long time ago. In fact, if you watch one of our previous videos, you'll see that the chain actually started getting a little hot, and you might be able to tell that when you look at it closely. And it just wasn't cutting well at all. And so I'm going to just show you how bad it's trying to cut right now, and then I'm going to sharpen it, and we'll come back and see how good it cuts just after I use this device to do the sharpening. Now, I'm out here at the land at the lovely place, and I don't have a shop with a vise in it here, so I just now purchased from Northern Tool this iron ton logging stump vise. And so this is this section down here. These two teeth are beat into a piece of wood or a stump, and then I can lay this blade, or the bar, I mean, into the device section, or the vise section, and then I can tighten it down and hold the bar in place while I'm going across it with my sharpener. So let's go down, take a look, and see how it's cutting or not cutting now. Not at all. I'm just going to do a tiny bit because it's just really bad for it to use it in this condition. And then I'm going to come back and sharpen it, and we'll see what it does. All right, so this is a cut that I'm going to attempt on just this little small, maybe 2.5 inch, 3 inch limb here, and we're going to try it before the chain is sharpened at all. And then once it's sharpened, I'm going to do it here, and then I'm going to come back with the sharpened one and do 2 or 3 here. But you'll see how hard this is, and it doesn't want to cut at all right now. All right, that did not want to bite through at all compared to what it should be doing. You can see the cut, and I didn't push far, but you can also see these tiny little pieces of sawdust here. So once I sharpen it, from what I understand, we should get larger chunks or larger flakes of wood, and that'll represent the fact that the blade's cutting properly and it's nice, and it's a nice sharp chain. Let's go back up here, see if we can sharpen it and see then how it changes once we do that. So let's first take this stump vise out of its pack. And let's get this thing beat into the tree and see how we can lock that down onto our chainsaw bar. All right. So I decided before I start sharpening the blade, I took off the bar, which goes here, and the cover, of course. Prior to that, these nuts, they don't fall out, they just unscrew and they just hang in there. And I decided I'm going to clean off all this sawdust and this grime a little bit before I do the sharpening. We might as well do a little cleaning on it as well. I think the better clean you keep it, just like any equipment, it's going to last longer, it's going to perform better for you. I mean, we got the chainsaw here. Now here's the bar. Let's go ahead and put our chain on the bar. Again, this is before it's been sharpened. I'm going to start by putting it on up here at the top, like so. Then I'm going to work it all the way down on each side. And it's probably going to fall off 5 times before I get this thing tightened down. But this is the way I logically think to do it. By no means am I a professional or have ever been trained by one. So we're just going to wing this. That's the beauty of everything you see on my channel here at the lovely place. That's the beauty of everything you see here at the lovely place, is that it's practically all been done for the first time by someone who's not been trained. And you get to see how not to do it and learn from my mistakes. Okay, so we're going to put this on here, drop this into the what I'll call the sprocket, and now I'm going to bring this over, set it down here. Now, one thing's for sure, I want to make sure that this little piece right here is in that hole, sticking up through that hole right there. That's what's going to tighten the bar. And let's take this by hand and crank it down a little bit. Now, I'm going to take this, I'm just going to, I feel I'm putting a little bit of tension. I'm moving that little metal piece over, and I'm going to just give a little bit of a tightening to both of those nuts. And okay, this is moving. This is very loose still. Let's see if we can make it tighter just by doing that. Okay, that's close. Not too bad. I'm going to tighten these a little bit better. All right, let's tighten this one more little nudge here. All right, let's see how she feels. Okay, so what I have been told is you want it to come up, but you don't want it to come out of there. This is not too bad. We can give it a shot like that. think it could be tightened just a little bit more. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get into the vise. We have set it down in the vise. I'm going to raise it up just a little so it's a little bit more level, and tighten down this vise with my fingers. Try to get it a little tight so it doesn't move, and I see that this is moving good. Now, for the first time, let's pick up this Stihl 2-in-1 chainsaw chain sharpener. Now, earlier I said that it sharpens the blade at the same time that it sharpens the depth gauge. What it's actually doing to the depth gauge is it's not sharpening it, it's actually taking it down. It's lowering this depth gauge slightly. And the reason it does that is this gauge is set at a perfect height compared to the blade over here. And so as you sharpen the blade is going to go down and also get shorter. And so in proportion to that, you want the depth gauge to get shorter as well. In the past, and I've never done it, but I've seen it done on video, it's a two-step process. First, you sharpen the blade on one side, then you come and you sharpen the other side of the blade. And then about every second or third sharpening, they say to come in and lower the depth gauge to try to match the exact proportion. So with this, apparently there is no guessing, and every time you sharpen the blade, you're actually getting the depth gauge lowered to the exact spot that it should be. And so this, from what I understand, is on a 30-degree, and you can see here it's got this arrow embedded, embossed into this plastic. From what I understand, you're pushing away with the arrow. Let's see. Pushing away with the arrow. I've got to get it lined up, of course. And you want this angle that you see right here, this angle to be in line with the angle of the blade. And then you see that there are also two lines here, one here, and then up back here there's also two lines. That's also to keep you in the right position with the actual chain itself and the bar. But as I see this, I'm trying to recall, I don't know if it doesn't go that way. It's obviously supposed to go, this is the arrow that I need to be on from this side, because I need my angle. I had it upside down, so I think you go onto the other side or turn it upside down when you're doing the other blades. But as you can see, this one is going in that direction. Every other blade goes in a different direction. This one is angling, I guess, at 30 degrees this way. This one is angling at 30 degrees that way. So we're gonna have to do this from two different sides. So now the first thing you're supposed to do is put a mark on the actual blade that you're sharpening first, so that as you go around and do the whole thing, you know that you've gotten to that point. So I'm going to grab something and mark that, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I didn't have a Sharpie handy, but I've always got duct tape, and I actually had some yellow duct tape. So I'm going to just peel off a little piece of this duct tape, and I'm going to see if I can somehow get it to stay on a spot on this chain so I'll know where I started. I don't know that that's going to work with this lubricant that's on here, but let's give it a go and see. All right, we'll see. We'll know that we're starting with the one right in front of it. So let's give this a go here and see what happens. Now, I don't even know where to lay this. I do believe that this particular this round bar, it's what lays on top. It's what goes into the blade, I believe. And then this flat one, this one lays on top of the depth gauge. So if that's the case, yeah, okay, I've got it right here, I believe, and I'm at that 30 degree. So I'm going to give this 3 files. I'm going to push it. As I push it, I'm going to file it, and when I come back, I'm going to just let my pressure off. Okay, I'll have to get used to this. I'm gonna give it one more. Okay. Ooh, now when I touch that, I can feel it, and I can see that the depth gauge got a little bit touched as well. You can see where it's a little shiny, and this is more sticky to my finger, where this one's really not. So I don't know if I did a good job on that or not, but let's move it forward and let's try it again here. Okay. Not sure what's happening. Never done this before, but here we go. Give it 4 there. Okay. I think I'm getting a little bit more of the hang of it here. And you can see this bar over here is laying on top of the blade that's that's in front of it. That's allowing you to keep it level in this direction. It's not angled that way or this way if you do that. So I wasn't necessarily doing that good to begin with, but let's see if we can make that work this time. There's the last one. Okay, now it's time to do the other side. Nice, we're back to the spot. So it feels sharp, it looks sharper. Let's see if it is sharper. I'm about to make some cuts and show you what it does after it's been sharpened, and I'm gonna see it for the first time too. I've not even cranked it yet. I did go back and I loosened these 2 nuts here, and then I used the tightener, basically it's like a flathead screwdriver, and put it in that hole in the center, and I tightened that chain down to what I feel is the right spot. I'll show you. This is about what we're talking about right here, with that loose right there. And that feels a lot better than it did when I was doing it before. Now, if you can see here, let's see, are you able to see? Yeah, you can see where I was. So I'm gonna start there and cut through that, and then I'm gonna cut 2 or 3 here if it's doing well. So let's see if it does well. Choke it a little bit. All right, success. It obviously cut through it much better. You can see now that I have some decent size trimmings off of it, not just sawdust any longer. Here's another example, those bigger chunks. And then you can see where I just whipped right through these little cookies here in no time compared to what it was before. Now that first cut, it was laying on the ground over here, and that's why it kind of bound up. That had nothing to do with the sharpness of the chain, but I'm real pleased. I obviously did not know what I was doing when I was using the sharpener. I got the hang of it as I finally got on the other side and got a better feel for it. I think I just need to make sure that my vise is tight and the bar doesn't move up and down on it. And now I know exactly what I'm doing. That was easy and quick, and it sure beats trying to saw a log when you're dealing with a dull chain. So I think that'll do it for now. We're gonna cut a few more trees off the trail here in just a few minutes. Get you a little footage of that as we say goodbye. And thanks again, as always, for joining us here at the lovely place.